Welcome to Jump Shots from the Goal Line. I'm your host, Jonathan Dugan, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Mr. John Henningsen. Henny, how's it going, man? How was your Christmas weekend? That's tough to say, Jesus.
Christmas. I know. Well, as we know, it's well documented. At least I have noticed that I make mistakes on the mic all the time. It picks up some things that I didn't even know I needed to work on. So if you're a speech therapist out there, hook it up.
Yeah, no joke.
uh, Christmas was good, man. I mean, it's always good to see the family. It was, it wasn't really sports driven. So a lot of cooking, eating, all those things that we talked about from the last podcast are still true. I'm not any leaner or healthier than when we last spoke. Probably, in fact, worse. But the new year will come soon, and we can put some checks and balances back in place. But
at least for a couple weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But certainly we can try. Best of intentions, all of that. But yeah, man, it was good. I mean, I can't say anything extraordinary this way, that way. Nothing that really stood out, but just a lot of good quality family time, and you can't really beat it sometimes. So, how about yourself?
It was good, man. It was busy. Madeline's birthday was on Thursday, so she's 3 now. It's surreal to even say that. I can't believe I have a freaking 3-year-old. We went up to Flagstaff, did the Polar Express, which that was actually pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I did want to ask about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up, reading that book on, around Christmas, watched the movie, of course, whatever. We watched it together for the first time last week, and then, yeah, you go up to Williams, which, by the way, sneaky, really pretty town around Christmas. They have all the lights up. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of snow, but enough to be like whimsical about it. The train itself was pretty dope. You get on, they give you the hot chocolate from the book. They read the story. They sing songs. Take the kids to Santa's village, and 3-year-old Madeline is just freaking eating it up, loving it. So that was dope. Santa comes on the train, hands them all the little bell from the book. That was cool. Then the next day, we went to the North Pole experience, which is they basically take you on a tour bus, drop you off at a freaking warehouse. You go through the warehouse, and it's just like, that's Santa's workshop. And the kids can make toys and take a picture of Santa, see Mrs. Claus, all that stuff. And each individual room has its purpose and activity, which was pretty dope. Madeline loved that as well. So after that was done, we drove all the way back to Tucson, got some rest. Then the next day drove all the way to Yuma. So I put in 1,000 miles over the weekend. It was a lot of driving. Your boy is definitely not trying to drive anywhere except work. But it was cool, man. Watched a lot of football with my pops. Wifey will make fun of me. Every time me and my pops get together, all we do is watch sports. And luckily this weekend, you had NFL football on Saturday and Sunday. So, we watched a lot of it. There were some pretty good games for sure. But yeah, dude, it was cool. I want to say it was relaxing, but it wasn't because of all the driving. But it's always good to see the fam, kind of like what you said. But yeah, dude, outside of that, obviously we got New Year's Eve this weekend with the New Year and everything. I'm sure you're probably like me. I don't plan on doing jack shit. I'm not trying to go out. How about yourself?
Yeah, I've been actively avoiding plans stealth-like. Yeah, just being like, oh yeah, no, yeah, we might do that. Yeah. Nope. I'll probably watch the football games. So
yeah,
if there's someone that maybe if someone wanted to do that and there was some lighter action on something like that, I might go. But dude, yeah, it's super overrated, the staying out late and trying to make it all magic. I don't know. I never thought New Year's was that. I had some good times, but I mean, a lot of times you're just getting crammed into a place that's trying to figure it out for a night, and they don't really have a plan, and but we have champagne, and then you're just overpaying this and that. I don't know. I always thought it was a weird holiday. I like having the first off. It's nice to have that day to reset and the extra day and all that.
Yeah.
But staying up for up to midnight for no damn reason is not something that appeals to me much anymore.
Yeah, low key, probably the worst holiday out there. I agree with you. I don't like staying up that late anymore. Not that I don't do it. But I like to do it in the comfort of my home.
But I'm not exactly. But I'm not then taking a $300 Uber back to my house.
Or going through a DUI check, if you're like an asshole, or, just being in the streets with like a bajillion people that are all shitty drunk and, trying to fight people. And I don't know. It's just like, I feel like I've only been out for New Year's a couple times because I actively try to avoid it as well. And every time it's definitely not fun. It's super crowded. Drinks are through the roof. Ubers, like you said, are just dumb expensive. And then you're getting home super late. I don't know, dude. I'd much rather chill at my house, drink however much I want on my own dime, watch TV. I don't know, dude. I guess I'm just a boring dude, I guess. But I don't know. I'm excited for the New Year's Six Bowls. That's for sure going to be fun. We're starting bowl season. Obviously, I know we've highlighted it a lot when Ben was joining us, but now we're finally here. So it's going to be fun, dude. I think the first game that we have, right, they start, let's see, January 2nd are some big games. Tulane, USC, Penn State, Utah. On Friday, we have Pitt, UCLA. We also have the Arizona Bowl here in town tomorrow. I will definitely be watching that, the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl. I know you and I talked about trying to go to that. Turns out it's 2:30 on a Friday and we both work, so it's gonna be tough out.
Yeah, naturally. But we are going to have college football playoff on the 31st still, right? Like that's still the typical schedule. We're still staying on that New Year's Eve deal, right? So we'll have our first playoff games.
I'm looking right now. I don't see anything on the 31st.
It's because it's got to be the playoff.
Let's see. I mean, I'm looking on ESPN. Oh, you know what it is, dude? My freaking phone just autoed to the Pac-12 because they know I'm a homer. So let's see. 31st, we have Alabama, Kansas State. That'll be huge. Iowa, Kentucky, not as huge. TCU, Michigan. That'll be sick. Ohio State, Georgia. So definitely some awesome games. Those last two are obviously that's where the championship lies, right? You got to make your way through that before you do anything. So we'll see how it goes, man. Are you sticking with your picks? Are we still going with Georgia?
Yeah, I still can't get away from that. I mean, I know it's like tough to repeat and all of that. I think keep an eye on Michigan, but I can't really see it going any other way. Michigan would be if you wanted to take a flyer on somebody outside of Georgia. I think it's possible for them. I think it's possible.
Yeah, I talked about it with my pops when I was down there. He loves Harbaugh. He thinks that Jim is definitely the better Harbaugh brother, which who's to say he's wrong, but he is. And he was saying he thinks Georgia or that Michigan can pull it off. And I told him, like, Dad, like, don't you remember like Michigan played Georgia last year with a very similar roster? Because both teams like lost a good amount of players, right? But all in all, like what they do, they both are doing the same things they did last year. A very good defense, great tight ends. Michigan runs the shit out of the ball. Nothing really has changed, right? Maybe the names on the back of the jerseys have, but by and large, they are where they are because of what they did last year as well. And Georgia fucking killed them. Georgia ran them off the field. I have no idea why anybody would pick Michigan over Georgia.
Because Stetson Bennett's the quarterback.
Yeah, that is. We can't say that on this podcast anymore for fear of the Great South rising again.
Felt fun to say. I do think Michigan, just for like look, man, no one thought they were ever going to beat Ohio State, and they figured it out. So if this has been on their calendar and it's been on their plans all year and it's been on their minds all year that they were embarrassed by Georgia, I mean, that's a healthy thing to rally behind. So that's why I think like there's a chance. I would give them a puncher's chance. And honestly, like I don't see a path for Ohio State or TCU that makes any sense to me. So to me, it's those two as the heavy favorites, with Georgia being the real heavy hand there.
Am I crazy to say, though? I'm not saying that this is like they're going to win, but I honestly think that Ohio State could put up more of a fight against Georgia than Michigan, because what Georgia does well is stop the run. What Michigan does is run the ball. Whereas Ohio State, they still have CJ Stroud. who's going to go top 5 in the draft. They have good weapons. Marvin Harrison Jr. is electric. So I don't know. I just feel like Ohio State could put more stress on that Georgia defense than Michigan can, but I think they both lose ultimately. But am I crazy in thinking that?
Well, I mean, I think like I don't think you're crazy in leaning on a stud of a quarterback, right? I mean, it's like hard to say that that's crazy, like because quarterback play can keep you in games. And you could argue that Duggan kind of gives them that quality too at TCU, but I just think for like a complete football team, like if you're going to beat Georgia, you have to be, and again, I still think Georgia's the more complete version of Michigan, right? Like they're just going to be deeper and better at certain positions, but I think Michigan's a complete football team that can challenge them on multiple fronts. And the quarterback really did step up in the Ohio State game, looked solid in the follow-up game in the Big Ten Championship. Maybe they've been, sheepish with how they've used him, and there might be a little more talent there than maybe what we had seen initially. So I don't know. I don't think you're wrong, but that's where kind of my head is at. But no, because of Stroud, I mean, I think it's, you're not crazy to think it or say it out loud.
Yeah, I get you. I think, yeah, if you're going to bet anything, I mean, Georgia all day, right? I don't know what the money line is right now. I'm sure they're probably, minus something. They have to be the heavy favorite, but I'm sure that Michigan line is probably moving it a little bit too. But yeah, I mean, hey, it's going to be good football on Saturday. Thank you for reminding me to stop being an idiot and take the Pac-12 filter off my ESPN app. But I'm excited, man. I think New Year's Eve is one of those days where you can just kind of, put the TV on, have a bunch of games running, and just, you drink during the day instead of waiting until midnight. That's the way I would like to do things.
Yeah, it totally bails us out of the entire conversation we were having, right? It's like, and I actually thought that was ridiculous when they first moved him to the 31st. But as I get older, I'm like, I'm kind of glad they did that. It gives me an excuse to just, I got to watch the games. You know what I mean? Like, as to where I used to be wanting to get out of it. And it's Georgia minus 125, Michigan plus 290, Ohio State plus 350, TCU 1800.
Oh, hey, you got a little change to throw away. That TCU 1800, probably going to lose it. But what if you don't? What if you don't? Cool, man. Well, hey, I got so caught up in the New Year's shenanigans and then obviously bowl season being upon us that I totally forgot that we're bringing back one of my favorite segments that we used to do before college football started, and we were in the doldrums of the sports season because baseball was the only thing on and we don't give a shit about baseball. But we're doing a top 3, right? Top 3, bottom 3.
We're doing like a little play on it for sure.
Yeah.
Well, top 3, bottom 3, kind of going like flipping it a little bit just because I think we run out of options, frankly.
And I also think, right, you were telling me, here's the backstory. Henny and I's significant others are both out of town. So we were able to record this episode a lot earlier than what we usually do. And also being men, we said, hey, I'll probably just grab a shitty cheeseburger for dinner and then we can record. And we both started thinking, well, hey, what are the shitty cheeseburgers? What are the best cheeseburgers? And we're like, hey, let's talk about it on the show. So in pure us fashion, Henny was like, well, all I can think of, what are the worst cheeseburgers? And I was like, well, I have no problem thinking what the best are because I'm 255 pounds. So that's what we're going to bring you today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're both going to have probably opinions on either side of this. So I'm sure we'll end up with a lot of middling cheeseburgers as well. But
yeah,
we figure if we mention 6 places, that's enough for you all to wrap your head around.
Absolutely. You want me to go first?
Yeah. How do you want to start it? Do you want to go like negative, positive? Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I'm
we'll
happy with it either way.
So my number 3 best cheeseburger, or best fast food burger place. I should stop saying cheeseburger, but it's going to be a little controversial because this place catches a lot of flack. And it's because a lot of times people say they play second fiddle to somebody. They're looked at as like a cheap option. It's like the Little Caesars or what have you of the fast food burger industry. But I've grown to really love this place in the last couple of years. And it's Burger King. I love Burger King because their value meal is incredible. If you've never had their $1 cheeseburger, has the mustard and the pickles on it. When it comes to burgers, I fucking love mustard. Mustard fucks hard, especially on a cheeseburger with the pickles. It's the perfect combination. Yes.
And I'm with you there too. Mustard guy, man. It's got to be like mustard. Like stop. Like I don't need you putting mayo. Like I mean, if you put ketchup, like that's fine. I mean, they're fine. I'm not like offended by it. But mustard, that's what's needed. And
that's why I like them, because they put mustard in their value burger. But I also like their other items. Like the Whopper's pretty good. They're like I think it's like double bacon cheeseburger or some shit like that. That thing's awesome. That's a killer. Their traditional like chicken sandwich is really good. They're just, I don't know. And then you have like that fake ass charcoal smell coming out of all crevices of the building that always smells so good. Yeah, dude, Burger King number 3.
I was worried because it sounded like you were going to go dumpster diving a little bit on the fast food burger. And I was worried you were going to actually take one from my bottom 3. But I'm with you that I think Burger King, like from a burger standpoint, like that Whopper holds up. It's a good burger. It
does.
I know it's not real, but the charcoal taste, whatever you're talking about, like it plays. I'm like, it makes me think I got something that someone cared about when they made it. They didn't, but it tastes all right. Man. I think I'm kind of with you. I like that pick.
So what do you got for your third worst?
Bottom 3. I think these are going to be. Like these are probably pretty obvious, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they're not. But I think it's like the places that are compared right there with Burger King. So I'm going to take Jack in the Box off first as a place that just, hey man, like if you're talking about like stopping in Jack in the Box late night and grabbing those tacos, that's a completely different situation. Those tacos are great.
Yeah.
I love those stupid things.
So clutch.
But when it
especially
comes
after
to their
drinking.
Burger, like the Jumbo Jack, Jack in the Box is one of those places like the Cheesecake Factory, like some of these big establishments, they're they're doing too much. They're doing too much. You can't be the best at everything, so there's going to be some misses. And I don't think their burger's the best burger in town. It's just not. So if you're going to a fast food place, I'm not saying it's not edible, but that one's far down my list if I'm thinking I'm going to grab a burger.
I will say, high school age Dugan. He hit the Jack in the Box pretty hard, and I always used to go and I would get,
we all have,
the 2 tacos, cause you have to, you get the hot sauce, you get the ranch, you dip it. It's delicious. God, if you guys are going out on New Year's and you're on the West Coast, that's where you go once the bell's dropped. Okay. That's where you go to soak all that shit that you've been drinking up 100%. All night. That's where you go. That's when Jack in the Box
appetizer portion of their menu slays. Like, that's
dude.
good. You know what I mean? Like
they're jalapeno poppers.
I'm not here to like tell you not to go to Jack in the Box. I'm just saying it's probably not the best burger spot. If you're purely like going for a fast food burger, that's when I kind of have to put it down the list.
Yeah. And what I'll say, like, in high school, I would get the value meal burger, just dip it, just slather that bitch in ranch. That's what I would do. And then get the chicken sandwich, same thing, tons of ranch, Frank's Red Hot, because they have it there. It's delicious. But that's really the extent of my burger appetite at Jack in the Box. The rest of their burgers are unfiltered ass. You're completely right. They taste like they've been sitting under a heat lamp for 3 hours.
So dry.
No flavor. And they do the whole ketchup mayonnaise thing, it's just not good.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. So for my number 2, I might upset some people because some people have this burger as the top burger place. And I think it's good. It's my number 2, right? Very, very good. It caught some flack from Will Compton today. So if you guys are paying attention to anything on Twitter, it's In-N-Out. I love In-N-Out. It's great. Very good quality, meat, good burger. The buns are typically pretty good. I always get mine with the grilled onions with the special sauce. What do they call that? I don't even remember, but
spread.
Spread, thank you. Yeah, with the spread on it, extra spread usually.
I
No
think.
lettuce, no tomato, because I'm not a fucking rabbit. And it's really, really
Do you
good.
have them take the lettuce and tomato off?
Absolutely. Hot take here. Hot take here. On any burger, there should not be tomato or lettuce.
Oh, no, I couldn't do it.
Dude, it's so okay. Tomato you can convince me, right? Tomato's good sometimes. The only problem I have with tomato is it kind of makes shit soggy, whatever. Lettuce is the most useless topping on any sandwich ever. All it provides is crunch. And if you need crunch to make a burger good, don't eat a burger. Lettuce has no flavor.
Oh, I like the crunch.
Dude,
I like
we're
the
not going to
crunch.
agree on everything.
That's why I love like raw, like nice fresh raw onion on there too, whether it be red, white, whatever. Goes a long way for me. Goes a long way for me.
I don't love raw onion either.
Oh,
You know, unless I'm eating
I want
like
that to linger on my breath all day. I want to ruin everybody else's day too.
if I'm eating Greek food, hell yeah. Put the raw red onion on my gyro, whatever. On my burger, caramelize those things up. I love caramelized onion. I think it's one of the best things you can ever have. But with that said, In-N-Out, it's as good as everybody says it is. It's gem. It's super, super good. It's only available on the West Coast.
Add the hot peppers, in my opinion.
Get the hot
Add
peppers.
the hot peppers.
Yep, those are
That'll give you
good.
some crunch. Then you could take the lettuce off if you want.
Get the well done fries. Do them animal style if you want. That shit makes my stomach hurt. That's too much going on. The milkshakes are good. And the price is right, folks. All right. The price is probably one of the best values in the fast food industry.
And it's a good experience. Wholesome, clean,
People
efficient,
are nice.
all of those things, like all those things that people rave about Chick-fil-A for. In-N-Out's been doing it for years.
Yep.
It's just a quality. So I'm with you. I think In-N-Out's awesome and like should be in the conversation. I still like. I go back and forth on their fries. I don't love them.
Got to get them well done.
We're talking burgers, and so I do like. That's a good burger. And if you're pulling over and you're just getting a burger, great choice.
Yep. What do you got?
On the opposite or going the other direction again. I mean, I feel like I'm just attacking the big three, but I think this is just the reality. And I wouldn't have told you this kind of like you're reminiscing about going to Jack in the Box in high school. I used to freaking love Wendy's.
Oh.
And I can't tell you the last time, and I'm not like frequenting fast food places like all the time. Like this is pretty much for me what I would call like road trip food, or as discussed, like the girl left town. Like what pathetic thing can I do alone tonight to make myself feel sadder? So I can't tell you the last time I had Wendy's, but like every time I have it, it's been so incredibly disappointing. I used to just go for that spicy chicken sandwich. They were like kind of the OG with that experience. They had that spicy chicken go wrap, which was so damn good. You're talking about slathering something in ranch.
Sandwich. Remember that
like
one?
they had some things, but like I've seen burgers coming out of there and they just look sad. Those 2 square patties, when done right, can look great and be solid. But more often than not, it looks like someone mashed it into the bag. It's just a horrific experience. And I think Wendy's, I don't know if Dave Anderson passed or what happened, but this has since fallen off. And it is in the doldrums. It is absolutely bottom 3 burger situation.
The Baconator, though, sings to my heart because they don't throw shit else on that thing but cheese, meat, and bacon.
Fair. And that said, with all of these places, right, there's little hacks, there's little ways to get around it. I'm just kind of trying to look at the burger. And if I'm comparing Wendy's or Jack to In-N-Out or even Burger King, they're falling behind.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Wendy's is far behind Burger King. Burger King embraces who the hell it is, and it does it well. All right? That's what I'll say. Awesome. Right. Well, my number one may be controversial to my co-host. It's one of my favorites. It's one of my wife's favorites. It's a burger that you can only get in the Southwest, maybe in California, I think, maybe. And it is a burger that is large portions. It's a burger that you can get green chili on. John, do you know what I'm thinking of?
I assume you're doing Whataburger?
I'm doing Whataburger, baby. I freaking love Whataburger.
It's not controversial here, brother. I love Whataburger.
For some reason, I thought you didn't like it. I don't know why.
No, Whataburger. Because again, if we go back to like what we were just talking about, like get those peppers on the In-N-Out burger. That's what Burger King's lacking. You go to Whataburger, there's always going to be, whether it's that green pepper burger or that jalapeno burger, they're going to have something spicy to throw at me. And that's all I'm really like. If you throw a couple jalapenos or green peppers on something, like you're already halfway to my heart. So
listen here, brother. You go there, you get the green chili burger, the green chili double, right? You put it on Texas toast because, yes, they have freaking Texas toast there.
They have gravy there.
They have gravy, yeah.
You could just get it, like, and just like dip your damn burger in gravy if you want to, you psychopath.
You can get jalapeno ranch. Dip that burger in the ranch with the jalapeno ranch. My God, there's not a better culinary experience in the fast food industry. It's
Spicy
delicious.
Ketchup.
Spicy ketchup, and then they have the jalapeno. What is it? The Whopper. What is their like standard? I never get it. Jen always gets it, but it's like
I don't know, but I get that one too. If they don't have the green chili one, then I'll get the jalapeno one or.
And John,
whatever,
what do they have on
Whataburger.
that burger? What do they have on that burger?
Jalapenos.
And what else? What condiment, my dog?
Oh yeah, mustard.
They got mustard on their burger,
They are mustard.
bro.
They are like a mustard joint for the most part. Yes.
Whataburger don't miss, bro. When you're looking at a burger, it just they don't miss. Like they had that one that had like a bunch of different peppers on it. They have the chili cheeseburger they just released. That thing's
Well, that's
fire.
the thing too. Yeah, you'll show up on a random, like let's say you're not like I don't go to Whataburger that often. I think I've been once this year, maybe twice in the last couple of years. 'Cause I finally got Chelsea just to try it. But like you'll show up and yeah, they'll have some random like, hey, it's our holiday burger. We like stuffed it with cranberries and walnuts. You want to give it a go? And like you may not want to, but sometimes that thing is exactly what you're looking for. So
Probably fire.
I like
Probably
that they
really
do it.
good.
And yeah, hopefully they don't do a holiday burger. I probably just made the worst possible burger, but
Yeah, that sounds
they normally
gross,
will bring
actually.
you something pretty solid, like you said, some sort of Texas toast, patty melt, sourdough
Oh, their
with the
patty
spice
melt's
and
bomb too.
yeah, like
Yeah.
no, I'm with you. I think Whataburger is freaking great. Those fries are right on par with McDonald's. I'm a
Their
huge
onion
Whataburger
rings
guy.
are good if you're an onion ring guy. I'm an onion ring guy.
Yeah,
They're
great to have the
delicious.
option.
Yeah, their shakes are also good. They have a Dr. Pepper shake if that's your fancy. Like,
Oh, so Texas. I hate that a lot, but that's okay.
no, I know that. If look, I know you're not a Texas guy. I am, so it's
I'm
okay.
just not a Dr. Pepper guy either. Dr. Pepper is the bottom barrel soda.
Well, we'll have to do a soda draft sometime because I disagree with you wholeheartedly, but it's okay.
So far down the list.
But anyway, my point stands. Whataburger's the best fast food burger in the industry. Now tell me the worst.
It's McDonald's, dude. It's the McDonald's
Oh no.
does all of
Oh,
these
no.
like things. Like I'll go to McDonald's just to drink their coffee, like because it's a good
no.
little buck coffee, right? McDonald's makes great fries. If you like weird chicken nuggets, McDonald's has that. It has a very specific flavor that's all its own. I think McDonald's is a respectable breakfast place. If you want to grab a sandwich and you're starving and you're not sure, you're in, uncharted waters, go to McDonald's for breakfast. Fine. When it comes to making a hamburger, and for that matter, a chicken sandwich too, they're so on the struggle bus, it's ridiculous. They got 7 different burgers on that menu that all suck. The Big Mac is stupid. The Quarter Pounder, they change and ruin all the time. That one used to be probably their best burger. Admittedly, I probably haven't had that in some time either. McDonald's is flailing in the burger game. I don't think they're doing anything right.
Is your fiance going to listen to this episode? And I probably already know the answer. It's no.
But she doesn't even eat the burgers either. That's the thing. She's
But
there for the
she-
chicken nuggets, which is like
She
its own unique
rocks
experience.
McDonald's, bro. She rocks McDonald's.
She loves Diet Coke, and then every now and then she'll lay down on some chicken nuggets. And I mean, I think everybody's guilty of having the fries once in a while. But
The fries are good.
really, like, we treat McDonald's as like a drink. I say this like out loud. I'm like, we can go. It's a drink store. Like, I don't mind picking up coffee from there. And if you purely are like craving a Coca-Cola,
They do a good Coke.
which
Yeah.
I'm pretty much coffee, water, beer guy. But
Yep.
if you want a really good Coke, like they're making it as good as anybody. But
Yeah.
no, they can't make a good burger, man. And I don't think I don't know if anybody can look in the eye and tell you that they make a good burger. I don't.
No.
I mean,
probably not.
I don't think anybody stands for McDonald's that hard.
The thing that sucks, and this is what separates Burger King and McDonald's. I've never been to Burger King where I get the burger and it just looks like it's been like just slapped together, right? Like it's
Yeah.
not pretty, but it's presentable. McDonald's, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna go and the bun is gonna have like little to no sauce on it, or like overkill, or like it's just gonna be slapped around. It looks like it could tell you a story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they have no plan. I mean, it's bad all the way, man. Those three are like, to me, it's like I can't even imagine like driving through and going to those places and ordering a burger. That's how they made it. I cannot even fathom it. And thankfully there's a million choices today, and so I don't have to. So if I'm gonna have a fast food burger, like I can find a Whataburger if I need to, an In-N-Out if I need to.
You have an In-N-Out pretty close to you too, so that's
I could
pretty
walk
clutch.
to my In-N-Out, honestly. Yeah.
Was there any place that almost made the list?
At the bottom, no. I think those three are like the biggest, most offensive offenders. I think like other places that like I don't know. The only other place that I thought of that because of this, and dude, it's the same reason. And my list is very simple. Like if you can get me spicy, like if you can put peppers on my burger, I'm kind of happy with you. And that Blake's Lotta burger, you can always get a green chili burger as well. Now
so
I've had that
bland.
probably a couple times ever too. It's like a pretty sparse Tucson Southwest kind of
New Mexico.
stems from New Mexico, yeah. And so if you can get a Hatch chilies on stuff, again, like I will probably sucker for that a little bit. But I don't know, nothing's really jumping out. And I think anything else, like when people throw like Five Guys in the argument and stuff, to me that's such an expensive more burger that
It's not really
you
fast
can't drive
food.
through. So it just doesn't count. Yeah, it's like it's in its own list. Like you have to compare with Red Robin or something. So no, I think with like the ones we're working with, I think that's kind of it. I mean, I know some people like Culver's. I think it's fine. It doesn't offend
okay.
me. Yeah, it doesn't offend me, but I don't get excited about it.
Cheese curds save it.
Yeah, but like even those aren't nearly as good as they should be. I personally think Freddy's is okay. It's a different little take on a burger. I don't mind their like
where we
California
differ,
style
friend.
or yeah, I think that's like got a crispy little different thing going to it. That's nice. But again, like most of these places I'm not going out of my way for. But if I'm like driving on the highway and I get a chance at Whataburger because it is one of those meals and it is one of those days, I'll be pretty stoked.
Yeah. The couple that almost made my list, one Carl's Jr. Kind of expensive.
Yeah, respectable though.
The double Western bacon cheeseburger, good Lord. Undefeated, so freaking good. The barbecue sauce. See, I like, if you're going to put a sauce on a burger, it's got to either be tangy like mustard, or it's got to have some inherent tang like a barbecue sauce. That's always okay. And then you throw those onion rings on there. It's just a very good burger. And then the other place, which is also very regional, would be the Habit. They have the one.
Ooh, Habit is pretty solid.
Place is really good. You want to talk about sides there, bro? Like their onion rings are good.
Yeah.
Their fries are good. They have the fried
You can
zucchini.
get a decent side salad there.
Yeah, dude. I mean, not that we're doing that a whole lot, but probably we should start of the
Mind
new
your
year.
business, buddy. I do what I want when I'm there.
But they have that one burger. What is it like the
Char or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the Santa Barbara char.
yes, and it has
Dill
freaking like
something. Yeah.
it has like guacamole on it and stuff. Oh my god,
Yeah.
just fire.
That's pretty legit too. That's the thing. Some of these, like, I just also wanted to keep everybody involved. And I know some of these places get super regional, and then
Yeah.
then you're just turning people off. You're turning them away because they can't even try it.
Yeah, exactly. But
But you're right. That
Whataburger,
place is pretty money.
but Whataburger, if y'all are ever in the South or the West Coast, I don't think it's on the Northeast or anything like that, but Whataburger fucks. It's so good. It never disappoints. You do feel like a fat slob after the fact, but it's a burger place. What do you expect? So,
Yeah.
good list, man. It's always fun doing these lists. I'm sure we're going to be doing more of them as, college football leaves us, NFL leaves us. Really all we'll have left is college basketball and basketball, which it's tough to talk about that every single week, but we will. But we'll start bringing some of these lists back. I think the next on the docket is going to be probably like a soda draft, even though neither one of us is huge soda drinkers. But I think every American person grew up drinking soda.
Day.
Yeah. Getting the sarsaparilla or just mixing everything at the fountain, whatever. So we'll add that to the
Controversial.
docket. Outside of that, let's stick with football since we kind of talked about that a little bit. The NFL obviously has had some things going on. J.J. Watt announcing his retirement. I thought the way that he did it was very J.J. Watt-esque. He catches a lot of flack, and I think it's a little warranted for being kind of like a, I don't know, like not me first. I don't want to say
He's
that,
just like
but
a cornball, really.
yeah,
Like, as much as anything.
kind of a
Like, I don't.
cornball. But the dude has a huge heart, and we'll jump into that. And I thought him announcing, his newborn baby going to their first game and him being his last home game, I thought that was a perfect retirement announcement, right? And we talk about JJ Watt. Obviously, he had that run. What was it, dude? Like 4 or 5 years where just like homie was in the running for defensive player of the year every single year. Would he win it like 2 times or 3 times in a row, something like that? Because he was just an absolute force on the defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, look, when he was at his best, he was absolutely dominant. He's just really as good as it gets. I think he was pretty good at, and I don't know that we're still going to find the word, but he was pretty good at shining the light on himself.
Yeah.
And I think what you're going to get to is a lot of that was really good stuff because he did some like really wonderful things. And so, you know, there's a couple different ways to do that. Like you can just do it quietly, which I think a lot of people do, or you can do it where you shine light the brightest. And like there's even an argument to be made that that can be helpful in its own way. He's raised a lot of money doing it that way. So
The hurricane relief is what I think about.
yeah, so it's like it's hard to not like knock it, right? But it is also like one of those things where it can be outputting because they are kind of putting the light on them. But all of that said, like dude is a stud. He's done plenty of good things. All in all, to me, like his career, I'm gonna remember like more fondly than not. But just also knowing that he was like a little corny sometimes, and
Yeah, I
and there
think
were times where you're kind of like, all right, enough of this guy. Like, can we talk about anybody else? But dude is a stud. He's a really good player.
I think of a couple different things, right? When I think of JJ Watt, I think of his Hard Knocks appearance when the Texans were on there, and he's
Yeah,
like
a little cheesy.
flipping tires and being
Yeah.
being kind of a douchebag with that. But then you also, like I said, think of the hurricane relief. He raised, if it wasn't millions, it had to be hundreds of thousands of dollars for that hurricane relief. And he really was like at the forefront of that, like actually helping, move boxes and stuff like that, and raising a ton of awareness for Houston. He did a lot of work in that Houston area. But then you also have like him announcing he's going to the Cardinals by like posting that he's in their, gym working out. Again, kind of a douchey move, but I don't think there's really been too many people in the last decade that can say that they've been quite the leader that he has been. I mean, besides Andre Johnson and even Arian Foster to an extent, there hasn't been a face of a franchise quite like JJ Watt, especially on the defensive side of the ball, right? In the last decade. Like that guy, he was the Houston Texans and he was so dominant. Mitchell Schwartz came out and said he was the player that gave him the most problems because he could beat you with power. He could beat you with speed. And this was a guy that was drafted like, what was it? Like 11th overall and got booed incessantly when he got drafted. Cool story, right? He was like delivering pizzas at, where was he at before, dude? Like Eastern Michigan or something like that. Then he walks on at Wisconsin as a tight end, or maybe he was a tight end at Eastern Michigan. Then he walks on at Wisconsin, completely changes his body, becomes a dominant force, a defensive end, and gets drafted, and has really become one of the best defensive ends in the last 15 years. So with that said, hey JJ, thanks for everything you did. I think you'll be missed, because he was a cool face for the league. And you're leaving the league in good hands with your brother because your brother's a hell of a player too.
Yeah, and I think to his credit too, like some of the stuff that was really cheesy and overplayed and that kind of annoyed, and this is kind of like the same treatment Russ gets, where he just gets a little robotic and it feels a little hammed up or whatever.
Yeah.
I think as his career went on, he kind of like realized that was his image and tried to be a little bit more sincere and, hanging out at the Coach House, a divey little bar in Old Town Scottsdale, won a lot of a lot of, local recognition for just being a normal dude doing normal
Yeah.
things. So he did do some things to kind of change that perception a bit, which I think is cool. And also saw a picture of our boy Alonzo Trier up at the coach house over Christmas as well. Christmas Eve or Christmas night, he was there. Had the invite extended. You want to come hang out at a dive bar and meet Alonzo Trier? I politely declined, much like our New Year's Eve conversation. But yeah, I think JJ Watt, like I said, finally remembered. Good dude. That was really just a throwaway story in a way for me to work in Alonzo Trier in the coach house. So
I met Alonzo Trier. I met Alonzo Trier at the Atlanta airport like 3 months ago. Super nice guy.
Yeah, I was like, he's apparently the guy's everywhere because I've run into him a couple times as well, but that was back when he was in Tucson. So
yeah,
he's just out there.
Much taller than I thought he was. He's like my height, which I don't know. When I watched him play, I thought he was like 6'1". So really nice guy. Threw up the bear down sign. I don't know. Pretty approachable, cool dude. But you did mention our boy Russ. He got his coach fired. Nathaniel Hackett's out in Denver. Any thoughts?
Sure did.
AFC West guy?
Highly predictable. I mean, he got slimed on national TV. That
was a great tweet, by the way.
I was so happy that Nickelodeon game like really cracks me up. Like, I'm mad we didn't have a podcast before like Barstool was already able to kind of claim that for their own already. Like they're just already on so much shit, so you have to like, even though it's like funny and it might totally apply to your sensibilities, like you just have to share the spotlight with them a bit. But the Nickelodeon game is just absolutely hilarious, and like to have Patrick announcing a Russ interception is like,
that's not how he envisioned cooking that.
Yeah, like, and it's like everything I could have dreamed, and every single like screen grab I could get of that to send to my Broncos friends was worth it. Of course, to no response, except for my other friends who aren't Broncos fans who are also having like the best time of their life, but they're just all ghostly silent, and I assume that because they were just so serious about Christmas or probably at church or something. I'm sure it was important. But yeah, ultimately that game was super, super embarrassing. I mean, right, you get absolutely waxed by Baker and the Rams who have obviously been struggling. And there was just no other choice. I just think that as the GM's in his first year, he made this monumentous trade. He hired this guy. Someone had to go because they're going to be looking at him very quickly. And I think the Broncos are in a lot of trouble. I mean, like maybe they can. I'm trying to remember going back to talking about it. Like I had some concern about Russ joining the division. I'm like, this guy's not completely done, and he certainly must be better than the last 10 quarterbacks the Broncos had. Like he must be somehow better, but he might really not be.
No.
And you might not be able to put that magic back in the bottle, and it may just actually be over. And so, I guess they just really have to. I mean, I think they just have to really go hire a coach who has probably a plan for Russ and a plan without Russ. And that's going to kill them in salary for a while because realistically, until 2025, they're pretty tied in because they extended him as part of the deal, essentially, to bring him over. That could be a mess, man. And I couldn't be happier about it, to be honest.
Yeah. And you said it was predictable. I mean, I think it was predictable in season. Before the season, Nathaniel Hackett came from Green Bay, right, where he was like the architect of that Aaron Rodgers offense and was like very highly touted, right? And I think I even talked about it on the podcast, that seemed like a match made in heaven with Russ, who's pretty mobile, throws a good deep ball, similar to Aaron Rodgers, not Aaron Rodgers, but similar. But good Lord, Russell is terrible. He is not good at all, and he's not mobile anymore. He just, dear God, dude, he's bad. And then now all the crap coming out about him having his own parking space, his own office, like in the building. Like, what is that about? This dude is such a maniac that like, I know Jerry Jeudy came out, I think today or yesterday, and kind of defended Russ. But dude, that team has to hate him, especially after getting Hackett fired.
I guess Russ came out and basically said like, hey, I feel bad. This is on me. And yeah, dude. But yeah, just tough with Hackett, man. It just, I mean, a lot of people were kind of on him pretty early though. I mean, like, remember, I'm with you. Like prior to the season, I had no reason to think Hackett couldn't hack it. But as the season went on, I hated that I had to do it, but I was already there, and I'm just like, this is what we're doing. So I was like, just bear with me, guys. Don't throw up. But ultimately, like when they're starting to, it's game 3, game 4, whatever, and they're counting down the play clock for him. At that point, you started to wonder how long this whole experiment would last, and they never really got better. So
when the stat came out that if they would have averaged just 18 points a game, they would be like 9-1. That's when you knew something was just gonna happen. Because like this guy's supposed to be an offensive mind, and Russell Wilson's supposed to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. None of that happened. They averaged like 16 points a game, and they were dog shit. And they had one of the better arsenal of weapons at the receiver position. But God, dude, they suck ass. They are so bad. Losing to Baker, getting a 50 burger thrown on you by Baker Mayfield, who got cut from Carolina, and against a team that has a bajillion injuries, no Aaron Donald. Man, you guys are in a sore spot. So your Broncos fan friend, I'm pouring one out for him for sure.
Yeah, hang in there, guys. They're torn. My favorite part is that they're like actually torn. It's like if you ask them, they're like, "Oh, that's his guy. I've never been a Russ guy." There's already factions building about like whether anybody even ever wanted Russ, which just tells you that that's how disappointed they are, that they don't even want to fake the association that they might have been excited the moment they got. Because I would have been excited. I don't understand. Like. I can't get past the idea that like Russ could be this bad. Like could I see him as a game manager and someone who's not a difference maker the way he was early in his career? Yes, I kind of already saw that happening. But as you mentioned, like with a top flight defense and the weapons around him, like can he just convert first downs and score 18 points a game? I thought he could do that, and so far, not even close.
Yeah, terrible, man. Well, we're getting into the last couple of weeks of the NFL season. Both of our teams, as much shit as we talk about them, both clinched a playoff spot. Tyler Huntley has done just enough to get them to the playoffs while pissing Mark Andrews the hell off at the same time. And then you guys just keep winning. Like I told you a couple of weeks ago, you guys just keep winning, and now you're getting Joey Bosa back. I mean, you got to be kind of excited by this point, right?
It's like I mentioned probably a week ago. I mean, I feel like pretty much the same. We really can't bury anybody. We don't still seem explosive on offense. We don't really have a run game to put things away. But the one thing I am potentially excited about, yes, is if Joey Bosa and Mac get hot, and if they're both healthy, and Derwin's things seem to be okay. He was back out on the field, although I'm pretty sure he got a concussion. He was ejected, but I also believe that he probably was concussed from that hit.
What do you feel about that hit, by the way? Because I didn't think he needed to be thrown out.
Well, I definitely thought it was an accident. Like, I mean, you saw as soon as he got up, he was like pointing, like I made contact with the shoulder, which is what I genuinely believe he was trying to do. I think it was just as simple as the target moved and
it's a bang bang play.
So yeah, I don't really know why that one was an ejection opposed to other ones, other than it just looked bad. So I ultimately thought he was going to have to come out for a concussion protocol either way. So I just didn't, I didn't worry about it too much. But I think to your point, yeah, I mean, my biggest thing would be like, if you think Derwin's dirty, just watch more. I really don't think that's who he is. It was just a bang bang play, and he got a bad deal on it.
Yeah, totally. But
big picture, man, it's like, yeah, if that defense gets heated up and all of a sudden that becomes a different animal, then that's what could be interesting, because I don't really see the offense taking another step this year. They haven't been able to develop the run game to this point. I don't know why it would happen. They're dead set on just letting Herbert throw it 45 times a game, but also like trying to manage it like he's, manufacturing a passing game and a running game through his arm. So I think the offense kind of is what it is, but if the defense can get hot, then I think we could be interesting, and maybe we get a little more of a run out of it, and ultimately it leads to greater development and ramping up the curve for Herbert, which is, at this point, I'm kind of just looking at it like, if you're John Moran, if you're Luka, you just want to see that deep playoff run so that they can develop, kind of see what playoff football looks like, or playoff basketball in their case, and if they can grow from that. So that's kind of the run I'm hoping for. I don't have any, dreams beyond that, honestly.
Yeah, this is the first time Herbert's going to be in the playoffs too, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun, man. And it's shaping up. You guys are going to be a wild card team. Ravens could potentially remain a wild card team unless they win this week and then beat the Bengals. I believe in Cincinnati. But you guys could be potentially playing. Would you be playing Buffalo? I can't see the.
I don't know. It's a little confusing. There's been talk about us seeing Jacksonville again. I think there's a chance we could play each other depending on how it shakes out. So,
Oh boy,
we could see each other early. I'm not really. I'm not good with the new 7. Like, it's not burned into my brain how this works. Even though I understand the 1 seed gets the bye, and then presumably we just go from there. 2 to 6, 3 to 5, like that sort of thing. But so I would think that we'd probably either see, I don't know. There's a lot to be played. We still have 2 more games. We shouldn't stress about it right now, to be honest.
yeah, it's looking like you guys could be playing the Bengals potentially. Which, dude, you sign me up for Burrow versus Herbert. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'd be an awesome game to watch.
We would. It's looking like we could play the Jaguars right now. I'm looking at it, which they beat us earlier. If Lamar's back by then, which who's to say? I don't know if you saw all the shenanigans going on yesterday about that whole rigmarole, but apparently a report came out that Lamar wasn't receiving treatment like he should be. He wasn't on schedule. He's staying at home, all this and that, and a bunch of rumors about his work ethic, and some real nasty stuff came out about like last season that he didn't receive treatment on his injury from last year, that he went to the Browns game high off his ass and then proceeded to throw 4 picks. Like, just guys taking cheap shots because it's convenient. It was kind of shitty. But then it came out today that he's had a perfect attendance record for treatment, stuff like that. So they've been saying it's a 4 to 6 week injury. I think this is the 5th week, so he's not playing this week against the Steelers. But who knows? Maybe he comes back next week for the Bengals game, ready for the playoffs. If we play the Jags a second time, I have full confidence that we can beat them. This time around, we have Roquan Smith. Should be a relatively healthy defense by then. So, yeah, man, playoffs are going to be a lot of fun. This game going on right now as we're speaking, the Cowboys versus Titans, has a lot going on with that one because the Titans, if they win, I think jump back into first place in the division. But obviously no Derrick Henry, which, by the way, I am in the championship game of my fantasy league, and it is the league where only sickos live because it's a 20-man league with defensive players. Yes, I am a complete sicko. And homie's starting Derrick Henry, so I am so pumped. I can't even tell you. I turned the fantasy app on and checked that out, saw he still had him in the starting position, and I almost canceled our recording because I was just so excited. But we'll jump into fantasy here in a bit. But they're down 10-0, so it's looking like the Jags are going to win the division, which, by the way, hell of a job to Doug Peterson. The guy just wins, right? Wherever he goes, he wins. He's completely helped turn around Trevor Lawrence. That team is pretty dangerous. So I'm not going to write off the Jags in the first round. They could definitely upset us.
Yeah, Jags are scary, man. I mean, they caught us at a bad time, but they absolutely pounded us when we played them, and they've won some big games. Teams. So, yeah, I don't really. I mean, the AFC is tough, man. Like, I mean, there are certain teams obviously you'd like to draw. Like, I'd be much happier to see the Dolphins at this point. I'd be happier to see the Titans at this point. The Jags might be one of those groups because you probably don't want to see the Bengals, but I still think it's kind of the same teams we've been talking about from, back when, except for that I think, we kind of talked about the Dolphins, should they, shouldn't they? And I think I'm leaning more and more, shouldn't they? And I think we might have been right in talking about pulling them out early on.
Yeah.
You just can't stay healthy, man. It's not even.
Tua is out this week too.
Yeah, and we're all on concussion watch for him for now into eternity. Like, he can't take a hit.
Third one this year, dude.
Yeah, he can't take a hit now where, everybody's going to be all over it. So there can't even be, a phantom wobble for him, or they'll be pulling him out of the game. And I mean, and they should. Like, they should be taking care of him. But that's not a good position to be in when you're not sure if your quarterback can stay on the field.
Yeah, dude. It's bad when the NFL is investigating the Dolphins again, by the way, for the second time this year. for their concussion protocol, because I don't know if you saw the hit that Tua took, but he got tackled kind of low and his head bounced like a damn basketball off the turf. And they kept him in, and he proceeded to throw 3 straight picks. So, yeah, prayers up to Tua. That's not a good situation. You look at Luke Kuechly. He retired after getting his 3rd concussion in his career. Tua's had 3 just this year. So, do the right thing, Tua. I would sit out the rest of the year. Playoffs be damned. Let Teddy, 2 gloves, do his thing. Dolphins still a dangerous team if they do get in, just because of their weapons. Tyreek Hill is a madman. I was talking at work about it. That Jalen Waddle touchdown where he outran everybody, but then Tyreek Hill came out of nowhere and caught up with him and just played bodyguard. He is the fastest man in the world.
Yeah, he is sickeningly fast. Like, it is absolutely crazy to watch that guy run. And I cannot say it enough. Like, he's literally giving me like nightmares, because like the Chargers generally play the Chiefs pretty tight, but it just always happens. And again, we saw the Dolphins this year where he picks up the fumble. Like, Tyreek Hill is the scariest, fastest, and like he still gets disrespected all the time when the people are talking about, oh, top 3 receivers, like maybe it's Devontae, and now I might be a Chase guy, and like Jordan, Justin Jefferson, obviously, like, and all these guys should, rightfully so, getting a ton of attention, but do not forget about Tyreek Hill.
He's incredible, dude. Yeah, he is a weapon in every sense of the word. Looking at the NFC picture, obviously the Eagles will have that first week bye. Well deserved. Jalen Hurts is already practicing again, so that's crazy. But then you have the Commanders at the Vikings for the moment. They're starting Carson Wentz again for some reason. I don't know. I thought Heineke's played pretty well. He is who he is. He's going to throw random picks, but Carson Wentz does that more than anybody. He's just a absolute madman with the football. So I don't understand that one at all.
Dan Snyder ain't paying 2 people, man.
Yeah, it's true. But he's not even at the organization anymore. It's his wife. So
yeah, that's what they say.
Then you have the Giants at the 49ers, the Brock Purdy show. He's been playing out of this world. So shout out to your buddy who coached him again. And then Cowboys at the Bucks. Tom Brady is the Cowboy killer. But that team is so ass ugly bad. That Cardinals Buccaneers game, I watched it with my dad. That was the worst football game I think I've ever watched in my life.
That game was so bad. And I'm sitting there, a lot of my family's Cardinal fans. They're still rooting. Brother. I'm like, what are you rooting for right now? I'm like, just root for a pick. Like, you want to lose this game. Like, don't even, like, why would you even want to win this game? Are you going to play Trace McSorley next year?
Yeah, he might not even be on the team next year.
No, there's no, like, I'm not saying you don't want your team to go out and still win, and if you win, like, that's fine and everything, but let me just tell you, as someone who spends as much time on the draft as we do the regular season in San Diego and now Los Angeles, just lose and get the best possible pick.
Yes. And as somebody that had Trace McSorley on his favorite team for a couple of years, God bless Chris Collinsworth trying to pump up him as this like quarterback prospect, because they were talking so much great stuff about Trace McSorley.
Now here's a guy. I wish I could do his voice. His voice is classic, but
Trace McSorley is terrible.
Come on now.
He is not good, and he showed that fumble at the end of the game to set up the winner. God, man, what poor football. The Bucs didn't want to win that game either. No. And I'm a sicko again. I watched the whole game, so when in Yuma, there's nothing better to do. So yeah, that game, as much as I say Brady's the Cowboy killer, it's going to be tough for him to do anything with that. But yeah, that's the playoffs. They're going to be coming up here in 3 weeks. So that'll be fun. Actually, if it's in, no, it's not even, it is in 3 weeks, right? Cause we got a couple more games. We have this week and we have, let's see, I have my calendar up now. So game on the 1st, game on the 8th, playoffs start the 15th. I move into my new house on the 28th. So news to everybody. Yep, our house is going to be done by then. If the Ravens and the Chargers move on, maybe we can have a little watch party in my house and maybe we do our first live video. I don't know. You and I will workshop that. Who knows? But anyway.
Just putting it out there, folks.
Maybe you have something to look forward to. Just Henny and I yelling at our TVs incessantly. So, Cool. So outside of that, NBA, not a whole lot going on there. Luka did make some history. So this podcast was just ecstatic. We were, just jumping up and down. We love Luka Doncic so much. But with that said, doing 60-20-10 is absolutely insane. It's incredible. Shout out to him. They were down, 8 or 9 with 33 seconds. Yeah, 9 points with 33 seconds left. And he put in the performance of a lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, if if you've listened to us enough, we're not Luka guys. However, I don't think anyone here has ever denied like his incredible amount of talent. So this just continues his path of, taking over the game, taking every shot, moving the ball, holding it the whole time, and doing what he does. And of course, he's going to pad some stats. And of course, this is incredible, and it is like an amazing accomplishment. It's very cool, but like the part that I still like is it doesn't change the needle about anything I've been saying. Like this doesn't. I know he could do this. My question is, can he actually ever win playing like this? Meaningful playoff games. So for me, the story continues. However, it's an incredible and ridiculous stat line. And if you like just, again, watching one guy control the slow pace of a boring basketball game, then dude, he's your ticket. Lap it up.
Yep. He is the Slovenian Kobe, pretty much, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, outside of that, the Suns still suck. They went toe-to-toe with the Nuggets. They lost on a buzzer beater. Then they turned around and beat the Grizzlies. And then they turn around and get blown out by the Wizards. So I don't know what to make of this team. They're ass. They're terrible. I hate them. But I love them so much as well. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, trade market is heating up, though. I do think there's more noise out there. I think Kuzma ultimately is going to become available. That's someone I think the Suns might be interested in.
Hell of an audition.
There's been some, yeah, he did, yeah, exactly. There has been some noise around Trae Young, and is he happy? And like, do they move him, or do they need to move pieces around him? Like, I think
a lot
Atlanta
of John Collins talk.
Yeah, I think, which John Collins has been on the trade block since he signed his deal, so I don't even know what to make of that anymore. He's been on the trade block for like 5 years, and I can't even stand it anymore. Miles Turner, I'm sure, is also available. Don't need to print that report, just use the old one. So some of those guys are just like continuing to be on that trade block as they have been. I think the Bulls are going to be a team that you can look at pulling some pieces from. Whether they'll move any of the big pieces or just move some ancillary pieces, I don't know. But I do think that market's heating up, and you are starting to see some flaws in some teams. I think the Bucks probably want to make a move. I think the Suns are certainly ripe to do something. Do the Lakers? LeBron's made some noise. Like, well, I guess he's not happy now, and apparently he doesn't just want to stat fill like Luka. He's about winning championships. Which, why did you sign that extension then? I don't know what you're doing. Like, so the NBA is like starting to get we talked about a couple weeks ago, like we're just like, you just never know who's that next superstar, who's that restless guy that like starts putting things in motion. Sadly for Suns fans, the Nets are playing really good ball. So I don't think it's going to be KD right now.
KD's
so
out
that
there
sucks.
making buzzer beaters. So
yeah, he's absolutely balling. And if you want to watch basketball played in a like basically perfect way, just watch KD. He demands all the attention of a guy who wants to dribble all the time. And if he doesn't have to, he'll take no dribbles. And if it's the most efficient, ridiculous thing, he's playing in another world. He's absolutely insane. And he should also be in your MVP conversation now. So there's still like some things that are moving. The NBA season's definitely heating up. We're past Christmas, so the storylines should get a little bit hotter.
Juicier.
So I think it'll be it'll be easier to talk the NBA for us as we're not just guessing. We start to have an idea of who these teams are, what their identity is, and I think some of the trade market talk will start to speed up a bit too.
Absolutely, man. Well, cool. The last thing I just want to go over is just obviously our condolences and RIP to a legend in Pele. Obviously, we don't talk about soccer or football a whole lot, but I think it goes without saying, legend of the game. When you think of Brazilian soccer, you think of Pele. Absolutely incredible for many, many years in Brazil. Played over here in the U.S. for a little while as well. A huge, huge part of the reason why Brazil is where they're at today, talent-wise. And basically any kind of move that you are infatuated with that you saw during the World Cup when it comes to dribbling, Pele probably did it first. So, RIP to a legend. I'm also going to say he's one of those guys. It's kind of like John Madden where you're like, oh shit, I didn't realize he was still alive. But still, our condolences, and, you'll be missed, Pele.
Yeah, I think I had like honestly the exact same reaction. Like, wow, like I didn't really know that he wasn't or what. Like if you would have, if you would have bet me $50 either way, I'm not sure I would have known.
The guy
But
played in the 50s. I thought for
yeah,
sure
but I
there was
mean,
no
yeah,
way.
but he's like the only like legitimately probably until I was whatever, like maybe until '94 soccer came around, like when the World Cup was in the U.S. Then maybe it put a little bit more. But before that, Pele was like the only guy that I even knew, even to the point where I was like, is it Pele or is it Pele? Or like, like even doing the pronunciation thing and right, the beautiful game, like that's all stems from Pele. And I'm not sure if I'm saying it right still to this day. But no matter how you say it, right, like obviously he is like, we just had conversation and obviously they crowned Messi the GOAT, but Pele is like really like the dude, right? Like he's the original. He's if Jerry West is the logo, like he is that for soccer. I think he's just like, so yeah, obviously a tough loss. I mean, the good news is when you're not sure if someone's still alive, like you said, he played in the 50s. That means he probably lived a long, happy, healthy life. And so hopefully it was a good run. And yeah, dude, just lost a good one. And I'll say when in the same vein too, the Franco Harris stuff was really pretty touching. Obviously really tough that he passed just right before, because that's the Immaculate Reception, right? Those are the same memories. Like it's like I found out about Pele and Franco Harris probably the same day. I was 6 or something. Like those are like some of the first stories you're told is that Immaculate Reception and all that. And really just like shame on the Steelers for waiting that long, though.
Yeah.
Why?
Absolutely.
Like everybody I was sitting with was probably older than me for the most part, and every single one of them was like pissed that they just didn't do this for him a long time ago. And they're not diehard Steelers fans or this way or that way. They were just kind of like, everybody kept bringing that up, and I'm like, yeah, I guess like you're right. Like, why would they wait so long? Like that catch happened in '72.
Yeah.
And like it's 2022, and we're just now like going, oh, Franco Harris, maybe we should put. So come on, dude, just get it right. Like, stop being weird about it. Just put people in there if they're deserving.
And the Steelers were complete ass before Franco Harris, and he really kind of, opened them up to becoming a dynasty. So, yeah, weird, but also, RIP to another legend. And I'm glad that you finally got your Ring of Honor spot, Franco. I wish you could have seen it. So, last thing I will say for this podcast, fuck the Sun Devils. Go Wildcats on Saturday, because that is happening. It's no longer a top 25 matchup because the Sun Devils decided to get their shit kicked in by a terrible team. So
University of San Francisco used to be pretty good in the 40s. It's my understanding.
Yeah, when Bill Russell was there. That's right.
Exactly.
But anyway, it's still going to be fun. It's always fun with the rivalry. But obviously it's always go Cats. So I'll definitely be watching that as well on Saturday.
Yeah, that's a noon tip-off here locally here in Arizona. I am getting word that my fiance is coming in from Dallas. She said there's a bunch of TCU on that flight, so I assume they're probably either on a wonky flight path through Tucson or dipping into the Arizona Bowl before they hit the Fiesta Bowl or the said Fiesta Bowl, now college football semi-playoff. I'm not quite sure how we're wording that. So TCU coming in strong. So just a warning out there. Heavy purple coming in and absolutely bear down Saturday at noon in the throwback 97 jerseys. Finally doing it right. This is the only thing we should ever wear. I mean, it's fine to dabble with some other stuff, but I'm glad we have them when we need them. Go Cats.
Yes. All right. Well, hey, all you listeners, stay safe this weekend. It's not worth it to get behind the wheel. What's more expensive, right? A DUI and a bunch of other crap, or a $100 Uber. Take the Uber, have fun, be safe this weekend, and we will catch you guys in 2023. But before that, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Please share this podcast with any of y'all friends and family. Follow us on all socials. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. John was killing it with the Nickelodeon game. He's doing that with all the games. So give us a follow, interact with us, especially if you're a Georgia fan. And again, we will catch y'all in the new year. Be safe. Have fun. Bye.